The following is a presentation of the Championship Racing Network.
Crossed Flags, a racing podcast. It's your midweek fix for racing news and information. Brought to you by the Championship Racing Network. Now let's head trackside to join your hosts, Steve West and Matt Nicholson.
Welcome into the latest edition of Crossed Flags. I'm Steve West alongside Matt Nicholson. Got producer Molly in the background and producer John helping out as well. We thank them very much. Hope everything is going well with you as the countdown to Christmas is certainly on. We got 2 weeks from Thursday. We're recording this on a Tuesday, by the way. So it's hard to believe we're only 2 weeks away from Christmas. Holy moly. Good luck, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk a lot more in depth about the week in the trial in the NASCAR versus 2311 and Front Row Motorsports lawsuit coming up again during the big show. As far as what we've heard so far today, right now it is still the lawyer for the teams that is up there going first, and NASCAR's lawyer has to react to everything. But based upon what you've heard, Matt, so far, opinions? Has it changed anything?
Negative.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
No, not at all.
Because apparently the phrase of the day is I don't remember or I don't recall.
What are we, politicians all of a sudden?
And that's from Steve Phelps.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
No, it won't. Not the antitrust lawyers aren't going to do it. They got an economist professor up on Monday, and he got to talking about economics, and he tried to compare what NASCAR was doing to what Formula One was doing. And I don't know as it's a direct comparison, to be real honest with you. And a lot of people complained about the fact that they only went back as far as 2014. Well, I don't know as that's really that big of a deal. That's a good enough area of time or a good enough period of time for us to be able to figure out how good and how bad these charters work. Because, again, these things aren't perfect. We know that. And that's the situation that we're dealing with. Some people wonder why it's not a more direct comparison to Indycar, which also has a charter system. Well, their charter system is only in year one. It's really a vastly different situation. I don't know as the comparison between NASCAR and Formula One works that great, but I think that there's stuff that could be learned from it. But there's also the other issue of the fact that there are a lot of, I think the biggest apples to oranges comparison, let me put it this way, is probably them trying to compare NASCAR to Formula One when it comes to the tracks they use. The tracks that Formula One runs on, they pay Formula One to come in and run on them. NASCAR owns, or they contract with SMI, who owns these tracks. But the biggest problem I think that they've got is the exclusivity agreement, which means that nothing else can run on those tracks as far as competing, series?
Yep.
And there's the exclusivity deal on the cars where those cars can't be used in any other way, shape, or form. I don't know as that's the biggest sticking point on that, though, Matt. I mean, where else are you going to use these cars? They'd have to be heavily modified to go street racing like in IMSA or anything like that, like we saw in the Garage 56 entry for Le Mans.
It would have to be heavily modified on that level. But from an exclusivity standpoint, there's really not many places that you can run them.
No. So I kind of understand the exclusivity part on that, but there's a lot of exclusivity things in there that I think are going to be sticking points. And we just heard before we started doing the recording on this that there's probably 2, maybe 3 more witnesses that the team's lawyer wants to call. And then NASCAR's lawyer has a list of about 15 witnesses that they want to call. This is definitely going into a 3-week run,
if not longer.
Yeah, and I feel for the jury. I really do, because they're sequestered. They can't go home. They're stuck in a hotel during the holiday season. This really sucks for them, and I feel for them. They're the ones that I feel for. I think
that's why Kenneth Bell was pushing to have it done like pronto.
Yeah. He knew when this was getting slated, and he kind of was hoping for a 2-week deal, but it's going to stretch into 3 weeks, I think, and that's not good. Not for these families at all. So we feel for them. But let's talk about something that happened over the weekend, something that we've had the chance to go down and check out on a couple of different occasions. Pensacola has a really, really great little short track called Five Flags Speedway. And we're about to show you the logo here, have a race, a very prestigious late model race that they run in the latter part of the year every year called the Snowball Derby. They've run it 58 times. A lot, and I mean a lot, of well-known names from the racing world, stock car world in a lot of ways, have been able to go down and compete in and win this race. I'll turn that one over to you because you know that list a heck of a lot better than I do, but it can read like a who's who.
It really can, let's see. Jeff Purvis has won. Kyle Busch has won it. Ty Majeski, Eric Jones. Just names that ring a bell.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie Mercer. Trying to just name people off right off the top of my mind. But it's a very, very long list of high-level super late model racers versus Cup Series and NASCAR Series champions, ARCA champions as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Do yourself a favor at some point in time. If you haven't yet, go back and just do a search or whatever search engine you use. Look up the Snowball Derby. Go find the list of winners. You'll be amazed at the number of people and the names that are on there. It is actually a very fascinating deal. But down in Pensacola, they had a lot of weather this weekend, and they were able to get the preliminary race in on Saturday night. They call that the Snowflake 125. Last name Harvick ring a bell to anyone? Not Kevin. His son Keelan, who's 13 now? 13 years old. He jumped up and he won that Snowflake. Watch out. This kid's going to be good. Is he going to be better than his dad? I can't guarantee it, but I'll tell you what, he is on a trajectory to do everything that his dad did and potentially more.
At 3:23 a.m. in the morning when the checkered flag fell.
Yeah. And knowing exactly where Five Flag Speedway is, it's not too terrifically far away from a couple of neighborhoods. That's real late or early in the morning, if you want to put it that way. But they were trying again to get everything in that they could. Well, they couldn't get the Snowball Derby in on Sunday as they had originally planned, so it actually raced yesterday, Monday, as we record this. And the controversy. Let's show you a picture of the final restart of this race. And this is legitimately the restart here, where you have Ty Majeski in the number 91, and in the 51, Stephen Nass.
That's Dawson Sutton behind Ty Majeski.
Yeah. Now, not every track has the same exact rules. You would know this better than I do. But when it comes to this, I'm kind of led to believe that line that you see that's right underneath the 91 and the 51 is give or take about where they're going to do a restart, correct?
That is line number 1 of what you would call the box.
There you go.
The restart box.
The restart zone. There's a couple of different ways of looking at this. Way number 1 is that Ty Majeski, the 91 car, the yellow car, jumped the start. The other way to look at it is the fact that Stephen Nass got caught sleeping, so to speak. Either way, as you can see by the writing there, Ty Majeski is protesting this because race officials determined that he jumped the restart. So they were black flagging him.
Yep. Let's see here. The way the actual rule reads. Because I saw it yesterday. Bingo. Restart rules. All right. Restart rule for the Snowball Derby. Restart lineup will revert to the last completed lap except cars under penalty. Lead lap cars will be placed in front of lap cars under yellow. Restarts will always take place in the box coming off of turn 4. The restarts will be double file with lead lap cars in front of lap cars. Cars will double up as they reach the finish line, given the 2 to go signal in the order they are running. Leader gets choice of inside or outside. Everyone from third on back lines up how they are running. Once pace car leaves the field, leader can steadily increase his speed until the box. Leader must fire first once in the box. No slowing, weaving, brake checking, or decrease in acceleration once the pace car leaves the field. Cars must stay in their lane until the start-finish line. No jumping a start or passing before the start-finish line. If a green flag lap is not completed before a yellow comes out, all cars should go back to their prior position except in any cars that are involved, penalized, or receives assistance, or cars that pit.
Now, you having raced at as many tracks as you have, Matt, is this generally the rules for any particular track?
For the most part.
Okay.
If you're running, Pensacola's got the restart box, as you see in line 1 of that photo right there. A lot of dirt facilities will either A, put out a cone, restart cone, that you cannot launch until you pass that cone. B,
car fully passed?
Nose passes the cone.
Nose passes the
Nose
cone.
passes the cone. B, they will go out and put chalk lines on the track to simulate a box, or just put one chalk line. You cannot launch before that line. Or C, they will have a set of cones on the inside of their track to signify a restart zone that you can launch within that zone at any given point. If you do not launch before second point in zone, flagman can start race at his discretion.
Okay. You've seen the video to this. I've seen the video to it. To me, I'm not seeing where the race officials have decided that he got a real massive jump over Stephen Nass on the beginning.
He didn't get a massive jump.
But is he in the wrong according to the way you're looking at it?
He was.
Okay.
Because when you watch that video in slow motion and in real time, before before the line of the restart zone, 99.9999875% of the time, you know when a car launches because that car is going to immediately point downhill.
Mm-hmm.
Not like at a 90-degree angle, maybe at about a 10, maybe 20-degree angle.
Okay.
That nose is going to point, therefore signifying that there's power going to the rear wheels.
Sure.
He clearly launched.
And Five Flags it's got some decent banking to it. So that would assist in that as well.
It does.
Okay. Well, Ty did not recognize said black flag for a few laps at the very least. And when the race was over, he went and he parked his car right straddling start-finish line. Stephen Nass had to park behind him and start his own winner's celebration. He went and he protested, talking about Ty Majeski. He went and protested. He showed video on his phone to every race official he could possibly find, and they all just basically looked at him and said, "It's final. We're done. It's over." They said they might take a chance to review it and maybe try and figure out a way to clarify those rules between now and next year's Snowball Derby. Again, I go back to the resident driver here. The rules that you read off, could they be made clearer?
No, not even close.
So that's it. Stephen Nass is your winner.
Now, if he had waited a half of a second, that's how I'm going to word it, a half of a second. So when the nose of that Menard's late model is touching that line at minimum, there's no debate in it.
Okay.
But he launched before, even though it was by literally that much.
Right.
Still.
Yeah. Welcome to this. You've been in this situation before?
I have.
Have you been the victim of a situation where you launched too quick?
I was the victim of somebody that launched quicker than me when I was trying to time the start.
Okay.
Like it needed to be, and fire in the restart zone like I needed to. But when the pole car was jumping consistently, they penalized me too. I had to go back a row, which I did not agree with. When I got straight out of the car and I went like, wait a minute, that ain't right. And the flagman, he said, I know it wasn't you, but he's the one that said, do it. And I was like, give me a break. So that cost me from starting at worst third to starting, well, I think I started like 8th that night. No, 7th, excuse me, because I'd have been on the inside row because I was in heat 1. I'd have been on the inside row. I went from probably starting 3rd to starting 7th. Know your restart zones. Launch in the restart zone, and then there's no debate or no question.
There you go. So it puts a cloud somewhat over what is actually a very, very fantastic event. And if you ever get the opportunity to head down to Pensacola and go check out the Snowball Derby, again, you hope that the weather doesn't react as it did this weekend and it gets delayed to Monday. But we've been down there. We've seen it run on a Saturday night. We've seen it run on a Sunday afternoon, and either one is great. It's a great facility. There are a lot of great places to be around in that area because, again, it's Pensacola. It's where a Naval Air Station is. So if you're coming from out of town, there are plenty of places that you can stay, not that far away from the track. We highly recommend it. Controversy, welcome to racing. We get it all the time. We get it all the way from every single level of racing that you could possibly talk about, from the little backwoods track that two people know about and just race each other on. They can complain about it all the way up to the Cup and Formula One and IndyCar and NHRA levels. Controversy is part of what makes the world go round. Snowball Derby is no different. So here comes the question, Stephen Nass. Can this launch him like it did some of the other guys? Because sometimes these drivers get a lot more recognition having won this kind of a race or this particular race, and it launches them into something better or bigger.
Right now, you can say it's 50-50. He drove for a team that is tied with Chevrolet development, so it could possibly lead to something. I would say probably Nice Motorsports down the road, but it's kind of 50-50 right now because Steven's a good driver, very good driver, but he's the one that's been more of a Jekyll and Hyde. He has good things happen to him down there, and then next thing you know, he's just every black cloud on the face of the earth follows him around wherever he goes down there. But he caught his break this year, and there was no issues in tech.
All right.
Probably because Ricky Brooks is not down there anymore.
It makes a difference sometimes.
It's huge.
It makes a difference. All right. Well, don't forget, coming up this Saturday, starting at 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central Time, you can go on to CRN Live on YouTube. Just do a little search on the little magnifying glass, CRN Live. You can catch the big show where, yes, we're going to be talking about the trial because we're going to have plenty of stuff between now and the end of the week that's going to happen. Don't worry about that. Roger Penske, it looks like. Richard Childress probably is going to be on there. And we'll find out whether or not we actually get the switch from where the team's lawyer has had the lead to where NASCAR does and who it is that they're going to call. That's all going to start to get rolling. Plus, we got situations in Formula One that we need to talk about. IndyCar is still making news. And there's a whole lot of other stuff going on in the world of NASCAR that we can talk about as well, especially in the Xfinity soon-to-be O'Reilly Auto Parts series and the Truck series. Still getting a lot of names being thrown around and attached to teams. And that means that silly season is in full force. They're going to try and get all this stuff done before the holidays. Next week, we'll probably talk about what our schedule is going to be when it comes to the holidays. So that will be coming up next week, not only on Cross Flags, but on the big show as well. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you to producers John and Molly for all of their hard work and doing what they do to get us up on all the different places that you can catch us, including Spotify, if you're just looking for the audio side of it. Thank you for joining us. Hope you join us this Saturday and next week for the next edition of Crossed Flags.
You've been listening to Crossed Flags, a racing podcast. For more content like this, subscribe to CRN Live on YouTube, and you'll be set to catch the 2-hour live show every Saturday morning at 9 Eastern, 8 Central.
This has been a presentation of the Championship Racing Network.